What do you get when you get Batman, It, and Spider-Man crossing over? Let's find out.
Would you be willing to trace all of this?
Hey guys, welcome back to Pop Culture with Pat. Hey guys, welcome back to Pop Culture with Pat. Today we are bringing you another review of a recent Netflix movie that just came out called The Devil All the Time. So with this film, sinister characters converge around a young man devoted to protecting those he loves in a post-war backwoods town teeming with corruption and brutality. So basically, this movie, it follows a group of characters, a lot of them having either dark past or just kind of dark qualities to them currently. And although the film primarily focuses on Tom Holland, his character, and his family, Bill Skarsgård being his dad and stuff, although it pretty much focuses on them for the most part, you also get to see these other characters, their points of view of the story. And at certain times, these stories kind of intersect as well, as you kind of see by the end of things, which is pretty interesting. So first off, with this movie, I mean, if you've seen the trailers, you see that this film just has an incredible cast. You have Jason Clarke, Riley Keough, Sebastian Stan, Tom Holland, Bill Skarsgård. The list just goes on and on and on. So the cast, just seeing that itself, sometimes sometimes you see a cast and you're maybe it's a little bit too much. But no, I thought with all these characters, they all did an excellent job. And two of the main standouts for me were definitely Tom Holland and Bill Skarsgård himself. Especially Tom Holland, it was just, I'm so used to seeing him, as at Spider-Man at this point. So it was really cool to get him, or to see him take on a completely different type of role. And I thought that he absolutely nailed it in this movie. Now, this movie was directed by Antonio Campos. I think I'm saying his name right. If not, I apologize. But yeah, he directed this movie, and the way that this thing was shot, the cinematography and everything in this film was just really, really on point. It really had that dark, gritty feel to it, and that added to this movie, because when I tell you this is a dark movie, it's a very dark, depressing feeling type of movie. So I think to really kind of nail that, the shots and the cinematography and stuff like that, if it didn't work out that way, the tone would have just been completely off. And I thought that, he did a great job with that. Now, while this is a movie, I thought it was really well done. I will tell you guys, this is a movie that it's definitely going to be something that, I might watch eventually again. It's not something that I'm going to be rushing to put this on a couple times a year or something like that, with a bunch of my other movies, or it's watch them at least a couple times a year, it seems like. No, with this film, even though I did enjoy it, or I liked it, I don't know if I would say enjoy it, I did like it. The film is just very dark, depressing. There's just it just seems there's bad thing after bad thing just happens to these characters and stuff throughout the movie. And sometimes with films it's oh, you could have a couple bad things happen, and then they kind of break out for a few minutes. It's a little bit more lighthearted, but you never really got that with this film. And it's not a complete negative towards the film, because I get with the story, and this is based off a book, so I get going with the source material, and I've never read the book, so I'm not sure how accurate it is. But going with something based off that, I'm sure that was dark as well, so you don't want to kind of make it lighthearted, but it's the type of movie it is. So it's just something that I'm not going to find myself wanting to go back and watch multiple times, because just by the end of this movie, I was just man, I really need to throw on something really lighthearted right now, or do something different. So one of the negatives that I would say with this movie, because for the most part, like I said, there was quite a bit to like about it, with all the characters. I thought they gave a really good performance. The story was interesting, but one of the negatives that I thought was just because of there being so many characters and stuff, there was a lot going on at times, and it almost felt like it was a little too packed in to try and fit into this film. The movie is fairly long, but I definitely felt at some points there was just maybe a little bit too much, but it's not a big detractor for me. I will say though, kind of on the flip side of things, despite there being like a lot of, but despite it being hard to watch and there being like a lot of like negative things with these characters, just like one thing after another happening to them, I do think that kind of actually added a little bit to the movie as well, because I never really knew what to expect. Like I said, kind of watching it, I was like, oh, this is some really messed up, some stuff happening to these characters. It's like, there's going to be something to kind of like lift the mood like a little bit. So I never really knew what to expect. So that's always definitely a huge plus for me. Nothing's worse than when you're going into a movie and you're, basically able to predict everything that's going to happen. And if there's anything that I can say for this movie, that's definitely not the case. Like, you don't really know what's going to happen with like all this like bad shit like going on. You're like, man, what else can these characters like do to some of these people? Because there's some like pretty despicable stuff. So yeah, that's one thing that I would say that I never really truly could guess like what was going to like happen like next. So overall, like I said, I thought this was a really solid film. Not something, like I mentioned, that it's going to be something that I'm going to go back and like watch like again and again. I definitely have no desire to like watch it for at least like a little bit like now. But I think it's something worth, just for maybe like the cast alone, just checking out, because like, honestly, all of these characters, they really give solid performances. Like I said, especially Bill Skarsgård, Tom Holland, but everyone else, even like Sebastian Stan, it was cool to kind of see him in like a villainous like, type of role. They all, did really, really good. So if anything, I would say definitely check it out just to see these performances from the cast itself. So overall, guys, as far as the score goes, I'm going to give this a 7.5 out of 10. Definitely recommend you checking it out at least the one time. And then once you guys have checked it out, definitely let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Did you enjoy it? Is it something like, are you in the same boat as me? Is it something that you liked it, but you're not going to like want to watch it again? Or is this something that you can see, yourself watching like a bunch of times like throughout the year? Let me know down below in the comments. And as always, guys, please make sure, if you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button as well as the bell button next to it, just so that way you do get notifications for all my new videos. And as always, guys, please make sure to check back for more Pop Culture with Pat.